Well, we'll say we're at Cassetta's right now in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I am here with the fabulous Greg online. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Greg?
I've been playing for a very long time. I've been playing drums and guitar and all of the things since I was like 13 years old. And I started mostly playing drums in a band called They Live that is currently a band that I highly recommend checking out.
Named after the Carpenter movie.
Named after the Carpenter movie, yeah. They were originally, yeah. So I played drums in They Live, which kind of taught me how to play drums. We played like a ton of Misfit songs. I think we did the whole Earth AD album. And but yeah, I highly recommend. They're like a death punk band. So there's that, and then fast forward a long time, and I met Efren.
Yep.
And we started making music under the name Plastic Boxes, and it was like supposed to be synth pop. It was synth pop, but it ended up like both of us kind of wrote melancholically. Like everything we wrote turned out kind of like sad and like depressing. And then I was like, well, at least sort of shows like, if people are gonna dance, they can cry and dance at the same time. I'm like, well, you can blend the two. And so it ended up just like everything we write is like very depressing in a good way. And so it kind of came to be that like, so Efren passed away last year, and that's been something.
Talk about Plastic Boxes, because as a result of your work with Efren and Plastic Boxes is really how we ended up meeting. And my first interaction with Plastic Boxes, I'm not even sure it was actually you or Efren. Who was running your Instagram account?
Me.
That was you. Okay,
Yeah,
so it was us who were chatting with one another
I
back then.
that.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about Greg Online and kind of what you've released, because you're doing some pretty cool stuff, and it seems like there's been a series of singles, and kind of a little bit about what you're doing beyond that as well at the moment.
Yeah. So I've kind of been, instead of putting out an album or albums or like EPs, I've decided kind of like to treat every song with a lot of attention and create a video for every song, like a visual feeling and atmosphere that complements every single song. And it's just, it's like, it would be nice to have like a big body of work like right away, but it's also kind of nice to just drip them out, because then you can give them all the time of day. Go, hey, I worked really hard on this song. I feel like it's XYZ, and here is the like feeling I want to convey. Here it is, rather than, not that there's, I want to do an album at some point too, but yeah, so it's like, I've been describing it kind of as like Bruce Hornsby meets The Cure, kind of. It's like, or like yacht goth, kind of, like yacht rock, I don't know.
I think one of the more interesting things as I've gotten to know you, especially over the last maybe 12 months or so, is that you're a very multi-talented person as well. I think, that we're talking about kind of that finding the sound piece of it as well. I think it would be interesting to hear a little bit about your background in, I guess, audio engineering. Is that a good way to put it? Yeah, spill some of that, because I think people would really be interested in hearing about your work there and really what you're doing, acting-wise as well.
Yeah, totally. So like one thing I really like about making music is like the engineering and the gear part of it. So I went to school for audio engineering 2011 at Hennepin Tech and in Eden Prairie, and and it's like, I feel like with the stuff I make, my favorite thing is the whole process from start to end, including everything, just doing it myself. And it's kind of, that's the thing, rather than kind of sending stuff around. I love it. And so there's definitely an audio engineering element there. And also, like, I did a lot of like audio post work. So I did a lot of like trailer mixing. I moved to LA in 2016 and mixed trailers for like Disney bumpers and like Disney movies, like
cool.
And then like a few other movies. There was like The Hunger Games Part 2. I did the like mostly Blu-ray and on-demand like trailers. So a bunch of mixing stuff in there. Wow. And then now I do, for a living, I'm a voice actor. So I do stuff for, it's mostly like commercial and corporate stuff, but like a lot of videos on like the Toyota YouTube channel, like the USA one. I do like the comparison videos where it's like the Honda Civic versus the, Corolla or something like that. Yeah, and then there's a show called Ancient Engineering on Curiosity Stream, and it used to be on HBO Max. I don't know if it's called HBO Max. I think it's just Max now. But it's called Ancient Engineering, and I did season 1 and 2, the narration of that. So
I think one of the things that I really wanted to check in and ask you on was you're preparing for the live performances, and you've done vocal work as well in a couple songs. What I guess kind of to a certain degree, what has been your approach when working with the music that's already been created? How do you work your way into that and come up with something that sounds so good?
Well, thank you. And honestly, I feel like it comes naturally, because the way I worked with Efren and Plastic Boxes was he sent me, like we kind of did it where like every release he did half the songs and I did half the songs in terms of writing the like bass song, and then I would do guitar and vocals over it. So with his songs, he would send me a song and I would kind of do the same thing as I've done with you.
Yeah.
But there is a different approach, because the music that you make is a lot more like dark and strong and dancey, and like in this but it blends really well with the darker kind of guitar parts that I've been writing for Greg Online.
Yeah.
So I feel like it works really, really well.
You heard it here, and just like last time as well, North Innsbruck, I'm not going to give up on that one. So swing by any social media site, be it Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud. Same with Greg Online. I'm pretty sure you're all over those. Hop on out online, check us out, follow us, listen to our music. Please share it with your friends. We are independent artists who do this for the sheer love of what we're doing, and to have you spread the word of what we're up to really means the world to people like us. So thank you so much for the time. Thank you, Dags, as well, for the time here today. You're freaking amazing, buddy.
Peace.